Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. Yes, I moved the podcast back to its original location. The office sucked. The acoustics in there is awful. The acoustics are awful in there. And so I moved it back. But if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Actually, I don't think we're going to be on YouTube. That's right. That's what I said last time. We're not going to post this on YouTube. Reason is, well, YouTube sucks. And I'm trying to get Rumble to be my main platform, that and Gab. So if, come over to Rumble, hit, subscribe, and you'll get more of this nonsense. Let's talk about Ukraine for a second. And you can look at the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Or you can go to charlescrum.com if you want to support the show. Ukraine. I was telling my wife this morning, they're arming their citizens. Now, I want to say this. I was looking at the gun drive in New York. You've got to be an idiot if you take your AR-15 up there and you give it to them. That is suspicious to me. That is suspicious to me with all of my non-conspiratorial personality. And I'm not a real big conspiracy theorist, but that is absolutely suspicious to me. I would advise no one to take their guns and turn them in New York under their gun drive. The military is supposed to be the one providing guns to the Ukrainians. So we have stockpiles of weapons that Biden, if he'd get off his ass, could arm them. Yeah, he could. And so the bottom line is to think that this gun drive is going to do anything but confiscate American guns. I'm suspicious, folks. I'm generally not suspicious of stuff like that, but I am now. I would advise no one to turn in their guns. If the Ukrainians need guns, they need to come from the U.S. military or the U.S. government, not the citizens of the U.S. And if it doesn't throw up a red flag, you're just being naive. That's New York's way of getting your damn guns. And I'm sure that there's going to be other gun drives or whatever. If New York wants the guns, buy them. But far as you turning in your weapons for that, nah, I don't see that. Ukraine's in a mess, and it could have been avoided. I mean, you think about what Joe Biden did. Go ahead with the pipeline. Sure, let's do that. He's weak as hell. We look like a bunch of pussies. That's what we look like. We look like a bunch of, we're fighting over here in this country about gender equality. Like that's a damn thing. I'm sorry, but if you're, when you get, we fight over the silliest shit, things that's well settled. I mean, this country can't even determine what a man and a woman is because of its woke ass leftist people in charge. And we're worried about another country way in a distant land. Well, it could have been avoided. If Joe Biden would have kept the sanctions Donald Trump had in place, this shit would have been avoided. But no, he didn't do that. Why? Because he's weak. And now he wants to be their friend. He's going to get our ass in a damn nuclear war is what's going to happen. These idiots that are in charge, and yeah, let's keep the same stupid son of a bitches in charge of our military, that failed in Afghanistan and the withdrawal there. That was a debacle. Got 13 Americans killed. So let me just say this, folks. I don't agree with everything Donald Trump did. I think he should have fired a hell of a lot more people than he did. I think he should have got rid of Milley the minute he became president. But I don't know why he did what he did. And I don't know why he decided that it was a good idea to keep these people, because it's not. But let me be very clear. If Biden would have kept the sanctions that Trump had on Russia, well, we wouldn't be in this mess, would we? No, we wouldn't. But Biden is weak. And Nancy Pelosi and her Joe Biden thing. Did you see that on TV? I mean, at the State of the Union address when they were talking about the burn pits, and she was, I ain't never in my life had 80-year-old woman, and I thought to myself, holy crap. Oh, that was so creepy. I mean, I just had a mental thought in my mind of them two doing each other. It looked like two raisins. Oh. Anyway, I'm getting older, so I need to watch that. But the point being is this. That was just creepy. That was just so creepy. You know, on stark contrast to when President Trump was giving his speech, she's ripping it up like. One thing Trump did, he exposed them. Now, I'm not talking about the Democrats. He exposed the Republicans. He exposed them for what they are. Lying ass political hacks like Lindsey Graham running around begging everybody, go to lindseygraham.com because, this guy's running. I would have rather had the Democrat in office. I would have. At least you know what he is. Lindsey Graham is, oh, God, and he has my last name. Jesus Christ, I'm embarrassed. Some jackass like that. Anyway, but I just think he's a political hack, and anybody that votes for that asshole in the next election are getting it. If he wins, are getting exactly what they deserve. But here's the thing: back to Ukraine. I'll give them credit; they're standing up for themselves. But the U.S. military should arm them. They're willing to fight. Arm the hell out of them. I mean, we're here now. You might as well. And I think it's, as much as I don't want to see us go to war, this don't look good. And what if he doesn't stop at Ukraine? What if he goes to Poland next? Anybody ever thought about that? Maybe he don't stop. Maybe he just says, hell with it. Let's just take it over. Maybe he wants the old Soviet Union back. Maybe that's where he's going with it. I don't know. But the last I checked, I don't think Ukraine is a democracy. By the definition of democracy, we're not even a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. But the term democracy has been skewed over the years. And with that skew, well, democracy means constitutional republic. But in reality, a democracy is where the mass majority of people, the popular people, say. And you don't want that. You want a constitutional republic. And the reason you do is because you don't want, if we had a democracy here in America, you would have California, New York, Chicago electing every president. The states have says. The state has say. The states elect the president. I tell you one thing I've said in prior shows, that the 17th Amendment needs to be repealed. It should be, these senators should be elected by our state representatives. Period. That's the way the founders had it set up. Right now, we have two houses. The House was the representation of the popular people. That was the House. The Senate was elected by the state representatives that represent that particular state that's been elected into office. They are the ones that would vote on the candidates for Senate. And that's what needs to happen. And why? Well, because that's the way it was set up. And I think it would be a better situation because the states could recall that senator when they're not doing the bidding of the state. But anyway, I digress. But the point being about Ukraine is they're willing to fight. And the U.S. military should arm them. But what shouldn't happen is American citizens giving up their AR-15s with the guise of we're trying to arm Ukraine. Bullshit. You'll be lucky if you can get those weapons over there. Think about this. That's trafficking. You're never going to get it past our customs because you're not the government. How? How are you going to do that? Folks, don't be duped into that. Don't run out there and give your guns up to these New York officials and the police. We have a Second Amendment. Why? We're all armed. Why? That reason right there you're seeing in Ukraine. When our government gets so bold and out of control, we can take it back and take it back by force. That's what the Second Amendment is for. It has nothing to do with hunting. And Joe Biden is such a dipshit. Oh, what? Well, you need an AR-15, the deer-wearing vest. Have you read the Constitution, you lowlife? Have you looked at the Constitution? No, apparently not. I mean, you graduated at the bottom of your damn class in law school. But take a gander at it. It has nothing to do with hunting, you dipshit, nor does it have anything to do with self-defense. It has to do with tyranny, when the government gets out of control. We passed our Second Amendment at a time when the government and the people were equally armed in America. Get this now. The people and the government were equally armed when our founding fathers passed the Second Amendment, arming all of its citizens and having the right to keep and bear arms. Do I think every citizen ought to have an Abrams tank in its driveway? Not every citizen could afford an Abrams tank. I'll leave it at that. But the point being is this. They're chipping away at our Second Amendment. Well, you can't have a fully automatic rifle. Why? What's your reason for that? A fully automatic rifle is not going to be any more dangerous than a semi-automatic rifle in the right hands. They've been chipping away at this shit for years. Now, well, you know, the Second Amendment is not an absolute right. Like if you're a felon and you get out of jail, used to, they'd give you guns back. That's no shit. In the 1800s, they'd give you guns back after you got out of jail. There was no convicted felon clause in your right to bear arms. And I am a firm believer that if you get out of jail and if the state decides that you've served your time to society and you get out and you're not on parole and you served your time, I think you ought to get every right back. Voting, guns, all of it. Now, I know you're going to have some people go, man, what are you, crazy? No. If you've done something so horrible that you shouldn't have those rights, you don't need to be out of jail. Child molesters, murderers, rapists, they shouldn't be out. Excuse me. They shouldn't be out, folks. There's a breakdown in our judicial system. I saw in the news this morning a girl could get 25 years for faking her own abduction. So she can get 25 years for lying, basically. And some predator gets 10. Somebody gets, drunk and runs over somebody, they get less time. Or, or just simply, I don't get it. There's a skew in our judicial system to where they don't know when to keep people in jail. A lot of these crimes should be death. You violently rape somebody, and I say violently because you got assault and all that with it. And I'm not talking about date rape where, it's questionable whether or not it was consent there. I'm talking about a violent rape where somebody breaks in and rapes somebody. They should be dead. They should execute the shit out of these people once they're convicted. There should not be any getting out of jail and getting your rights back. You molest a child, boom, death. Screw that shit feeding that sumbitch for 50 years. Death. You scarred that kid for the rest of its life. And if it turns out, if he or she turns out normal, it will be a, anyway, that's my point. If you held up a liquor store and you served your time, you should get your guns back. We have millions of guns in this, And if a criminal wants them, they're going to get them. And he's not a criminal anymore. He served his time. He blah, blah, blah. Nobody died. You get what I'm saying. White collar crime, you laundered $500 million, and why shouldn't you? It's not a violent crime. But anyway, I digress. Don't give up your guns and the guise of arming the Ukrainians. That's stupidity, and it's a way to get our guns. I'm just saying. And I'll see you guys on the next show. You can support the show at charlesgraham.com. I will see you guys. Thank you. Bye.